Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. Happy Thursday to you. Hope you're having a great day so far. If you're joining us on the replay, a quick hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. And please include in comments the word replay so I get to catch your view. And if you're joining us from our friends at ModernMom, welcome. As you know, we're streaming to you as well now so that you can stay on top of important business and financial news every day that the financial markets are open. Let's start and let you know how the market closed today. So unfortunately, Dow closed down 345 points. The Nasdaq joined also down 274 points. The S&P 500 also down 51. We're having a lot of concerns these days, my friends. In fact, as you may have seen, the Senate today started a grueling process of debating President Joe Biden's $1.9 trillion big $1 pandemic relief bill, a process that could stretch into the weekend before a final vote in the chamber takes place. The chamber voted today to open the debate, but major Republican opposition is expected. No surprise here. There's definitely going to be a lot of controversy and a lot of arguments, but hopefully it'll be to the best of the American public. This is thinking that this is going to cause major and probably more delays getting the bills passed. However, the bill has undergone already several facelifts here in the Senate and will likely see a few more before it's sent back to the House for final approval. And then from there, once the House approves it, once again, it will then be sent to the president for his signature. There are talks, in fact, that this may force the 628-page bill to be read aloud. I'm so glad that I'm not sitting in the Senate right now. I don't want to hear someone reading a 628-page bill. I don't know about you, but that takes some real patience there. They're thinking about having this read out loud before the expected 20 hours of debate can actually begin. On other matters and why we're also seeing some weakness in the financial markets today, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell shared that he expects us to experience some levels of inflation increase as the economy starts to reopen, and you're actually seeing more states actually lifting their mask mandates as well. Before things get back to normal, he's projecting that there will be improvement, but most likely not, enough to make a major move to require the central bank to increase interest rates. And what that also means, really, for those of you watching, is that means your savings account at the bank probably isn't going to earn too much more than it's earning right now. And here's the flip side. Here's a positive, that your borrowing probably won't be costing you too much either. So that's a good thing. So those of you who are looking to refinance, or maybe you're looking to buy a new car, probably your lending rates are going to stick pretty close to where they're at right now. Now, I want to talk to you about this as well, because Jerome Powell says that, if the economy reopens and hopefully it picks up, then we will see inflation move up through base effects. Now, if that's the case, so just know that you're going to see more pressure. The stock market doesn't like the idea of inflation taking place. So at any time there's cause of concern of inflation, you're going to see probably some movement like today, some negative movement across the board. Today also, the Labor Department reported 745,000 Americans filed for unemployment benefits for the first time last week, which unfortunately is an increase of 9,000 from the previous week. So although it seems like maybe things are getting better, certainly more Americans are getting vaccinated, but still Americans continue to be forced into unemployment. One thing I will say, and this is on today's topic, today's a really, really special topic. I'm really excited about our guests. It's all about the importance of having a side hustle and having another direction, having another plan when things go south. In fact, Bankrate recently released a survey that showed nearly half of Americans currently have side hustles, working as Uber or Lyft drivers, or a side job or side project. In fact, 43% they showed of those side hustlers work full-time, while 51% are actually part-time workers. So, very excited to introduce once again my very dear friend. She's definitely someone I consider one of my most favorite humans. Stacey Kelly, you may know, is a digital executive with over 15 years of experience making content that grows audiences online. Stacey, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, Winnie, thank you for having me again. I'm so excited to be here.
I
Thank
know
you.
we're like not that far apart right now, but we can't be in the same room together. So I guess even though I could try to see you and you could try to see me, we're gonna have to
Yeah.
do it via Zoom. And I'm totally okay with this. For those of you who don't know, let me just introduce my friend, my dear friend Stacey Kelly. She is executive producer of TV and digital content. 15 plus years experience. She's a powerhouse. She's worked for many of the mega brands that you've heard of, including BuzzFeed to VidCon to YouTube influencers. Stacey has captured the attention with disruptive videos that grow and maximize brand channels, averaging 500,000 plus new subscribers. Oh, just a tad, with numerous uh, actually, she probably can't even keep count how many viral video hits she's done. And in March of 2020, though, I want to say, and this is, I think many of you probably didn't expect for me to share this with you. In March of 2020, Stacey actually found herself unemployed. So she leveraged her talents from a content company that serves entertainment and tech brands with fresh content they were unable to normally shoot during the lockdown. This was what she did. She had to pivot. She had to make a decision. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, right, Stacey?
Yes. Yeah. Happy to
I mean,
share it.
most people are thinking like with a bio like yours, right? You've got BuzzFeed, you got VidCon, you've got countless mega YouTube, social media, media personality, celebrities that you've worked with. I know you've even, coached many really, really big celebrities, maybe by the name of The Rock and others. And yet you found yourself unemployed. How did that feel for you?
Well, first of all, I just want to say I didn't get to coach him. I got to film him for a series for
Okay, you got
MTV.
them.
So I got to touch his chest when I put the sound mic on him.
Closer than I can
That was my big claim to fame. Yeah. So yeah, he was so great. But yeah, so in terms of just kind of being out there and being unemployed a year, basically last March, I had to pivot. I was going into freelance. I was going into just working on commercial productions and producing commercials. And obviously that's always on a very enclosed set that, is very intimate for actors and crew alike. So we had to just shut down. As soon as everything shut down, all of those commercial productions had to shut down. So I had to pivot. I really just put my head down for about 30 days straight, really, and developed out new ways to kind of, and did a lot of research, but developed out new ways to film, remotely. And how could we use Zoom as a form of storytelling, as a different way of storytelling during this very uncertain time. And I just went out, like crazy and shared what I found with just a lot of different people and companies, and it was helping them. I didn't really expect anything in return because I was sort of like, I don't really know if this will work yet, but it did. And then I just found myself just being super busy now. I have, just a ton of clients that I help out on a daily basis.
Well, I know your specialty is videos that entertain and delight your tribe, and that's your specialty. You're really good at you're really great at telling stories and getting people really excited about the content that you're creating. I will say, I work with a lot of clients in the entertainment space. This has been a very, very challenging time. A lot of people are finding themselves out of work. Especially people who are behind the cameras, right? I mean, you're used to being on film crews or TV sets with tons of people. So this is not an easy time for sure. Let me, let's do something fun. I see a whole bunch of our friends on the audience today. Wow, very big, lot of friends today. Let's start with a little fun quote, if we will. Let's see what you think of this. Okay, this is a quote that really resonates with me. And in fact, my team will tell you, I actually said this before. I didn't actually know this was someone else's quote as well. But I'm a big believer in this. Money and success don't change people. They merely amplify what is already there. In fact, I've actually said money oftentimes is like alcohol. If you were a nice person before and you drink alcohol, you're typically a nicer person. And same, if you bring money and you're not a nice person, typically you just become less of a nice person. But really, it's an amplification of who you already were as a person, as your character. Who do you think, Stacey Kelly, who would you guess said this? And those of you who are joining us, I see Brian Schumann, who's amazing, who I think is joining us today on Facebook, as well as so many of you. a lot of you joined from Periscope. Guess, if you will, who do you think said this quote? Is Dr. Seuss, Janet Yellen, Bill Gates, Will Smith, Jennifer Lopez, Oprah Winfrey? Take a guess. Let's just have some fun with it.
Oh my gosh, this is so hard because because I really can't decide between Bill Gates, Will Smith, and Oprah. So, and even Dr. Seuss, it sounds like. I feel like it's Will Smith, but I'm going to say Oprah. Just to like, or it's Bill Gates. No, it's Oprah. I'm guessing Oprah.
Okay, so CrossX Fighter is saying Janet Yellen, okay, who's our Treasury Secretary now, okay. Brian Schumann is saying so hard, okay. Flip-flop and flip-flops needed, okay, I love that. Flip-flop needed said it's Dr. Seuss. And Brian Schumann says Will Smith. But then he says, I'm with Stacey, because Stacey said Oprah Winfrey, Brian Schumann. I think you should stick with your first answer because, my friends, it is actually the one and only Will Smith. Of course, legendary Will Smith. Yes, it is Will Smith's. Money and success don't change people. They merely amplify what is already there. And I can say that for a fact when it comes to Stacey Kelly. This is truly the fact. Stacey Kelly has always been consistently wonderful. And you'll see why in just a moment, why she's like literally one of my most favorite humans ever. Let's talk about life, Stacey. Right? Let's talk about this. So you became unemployed. I want to tell you, I'm your friend. I didn't even know you were fully employed. I mean, you just always seem so busy and you're so optimistic. Let's talk about pandemic proof your income, COVID proofing your income. Some of you are watching like, what is COVID proofing your income? That's making sure that whether it's like COVID or today, I read on the CDC website, by the way, how you zombie proof your life. Did you see this? Did you read this article?
No.
If you didn't, you need to see this. It's actually on the CDC website. There's a whole list of things that you should do to make sure you're protected from zombies. I know some of you are not really believing me on this, but I'm guessing Curtis, my producer right now, is like Googling this because he's like, I don't even believe it. But there you go. CDC zombie preparedness. You see that?
I'm totally going to do that. I'm going to read that.
It's on the CDC website. This is like, I mean, I thought zombies was a Halloween thing, but obviously they're enough that the CDC is warning us of this. Okay, anyhow, back to the questions.
That is a bad sign.
Stacey, how do we COVID/zombie proof your income?
So one thing that I really learned in the last year is that everybody, no matter who you are, what your job was, what job you lost, you as a human being, you are also a personal brand and you're a media company. You have a lot of control right now because you have so much access to these platforms where you can really just share more of who you are. Everybody is an expert in something. So no matter what you think you can, or can't do in your job, your job doesn't define you. You're an expert in something, you're passionate about something. And these platforms are here for you so that you can share your passions. And one way and one thing that I learned in the last year, because I started to step out and do my own techniques that I do for other brands, I started to do on myself. And I really found that as soon as I aligned with what, my sales goals were or what I wanted to make per month, I really started to push my personal brand out into the world on platforms. And I would just, go out there and just push it every week. I was on LinkedIn. I was active. I was giving away a lot of free content. And then I just essentially started to see that karma come back. And now, I have like people that come to me that are attracted to me and my business and what I do. And I feel like that can happen for anyone. I've been just coaching people, consulting with different brands, from small business startups to influencers to even the bigger brands right now. And I've just been, helping people out. And every time they do it consistently, they've been able to see that they can like make their goals happen, their financial goals.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's like telling that story, right? And understanding that we all have some expertise or something to share into the world. So if you're going through zombies or if you're going through COVID, right, your business doesn't end just because things have changed but shifted. But what you said, Stacey, what I love, I think what you emphasize is that realizing that there are platforms out there that can help you tell your story, but most importantly, bring in income, right?
Yeah.
Stacey, let's talk about that a little bit, because you found yourself completely unemployed, right?
Yeah.
And then, but you had this skill set. And you also knew that you had a story to tell, but more importantly, you could help other people with all the experience that you created. So where did you decide to start? Did you just start a website? Did you start hiring? Did you start scripting? What sort of place did you start at?
Yeah. So, I mean, I put my website together. I put all my work together because that's the one place people will always go back to, to kind of like check me out. So I knew that that was going to be a thing. And then I just really went hardcore on social media. I started off with just LinkedIn and Instagram, and I was just sharing like pieces of content consistently. And I was just really, I wasn't even 100% ready, I would say, for like the kind of rebound effect of people coming back to me and asking for work. But as soon as they did, I was just kind of like almost pre-interviewing those people for like how I could help them. And then really just finding a way, putting a system in place for charging them. People really enjoy kind of like the experience, because it's not just like you're hiring me as a freelancer, you're hiring my entire business. I do have an intern that's helping me out. And, you kind of come in and you're just kind of like getting the concierge service. You're being taught all of my techniques of how to make your own content, how to really put yourself out there, what kinds of content to do. It's developing out for brands. And then just really going hardcore into that. I set up small teams for these brands as well. But I also just like what they're really looking for. The immediate need is just new ideas and how to execute on those ideas.
Yeah.
So
I love
so
that. I love that.
through a whole system. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have a pretty elaborate system, I should say, right? So let's just walk through this process if we will. So you work with a company, they say, okay, right now, Stacey, our business has slowed down, right? We're looking to gain audience, we're getting more eyeball on our content. So what are the things that, do you think, let me just first ask this question. Do you think all businesses have the capability to excel in branded content? Or do you think it's really for these specific industries do better versus others don't do as well?
Oh, no, I feel like, especially since the pandemic and especially with businesses going on TikTok, there's so much opportunity. There's just so many different ways you can share your message and share your story and what you're selling ultimately in a way that just feels organic and that people will want to buy with you as long as they connect with you. And the thing is, there's all these different platforms that allow you to kind of have that opportunity. So I think it's a very big, I know Gary Vee also says this a lot. But if you find your tribe on whatever platform, you absolutely, every business, every brand has an opportunity to kind of excel this way with using original content.
With original content. Let me ask you this. This has been a conversation that a lot of business owners have been talking about. So you create great content, right? And so you need to find your tribe. You have to almost constantly work at this process, right? I was just talking to a content creator yesterday, creating great content. However, they're saying, do I need to boost? Do I need to put money behind to get people to see my content? What is your feeling? Obviously, you're coaching your clients, creating incredible, highly well-produced content that is meant, like you have so much success in creating viral videos that get lots of engagement and lots of followers. What's your advice? Do you boost or do you not boost?
Boosting paid is a separate strategy, and I do believe in it. I do believe it works. Just you have to figure out what your budget is, what you want to spend, and how many people you want to make that reach to. But I firmly believe more that original content is the way to go. It's the long-term game. Anyone that is even seeing your ads, they're going to go to your social media profile and check you out anyway. And if they're not connecting with you through your content, they're not going to buy from you, no matter how great and glossy your ad is, because people don't want to feel sold to on social media. And that's the key. There's no getting around it. You have to kind of really invest your time and and into putting and making, or time or money, whatever, but resources into making original content to share your message and share your story, your brand story with the world. Because at the end of the day, there is a lot of competition out there, but you have a unique voice, and an ad just won't cut it. I would say if you're making content and then you see one that is kind of spiking and doing really well, go ahead and try it out. Like, put some ad dollars towards that because it's doing well. So it's a good piece of content, and just test it out and see if it can bring you some sales in, in the door. But for sure, I don't say don't do ads, but for sure invest more time and energy and resources into original content, because that's what everybody is looking for right now. Everybody's on the internet, locked up in their homes during COVID, and they just want to connect with a brand, and your brand values and how you're expressing that is the most important thing.
Oh, I love that. I know Brian Schumann saying boom. I got to agree. That's 100% boom right there, Stacey Kelly. This is why she's so good at what she does. She's great at getting brands to tell their stories, because oftentimes you'll meet with brands or you meet with companies, especially in traditional industries. They're like, I don't know. I feel like everything I could say has already been said about my business, right? And like, there's nothing special about my business. But then that's the problem. You got to make something special about your business, because otherwise your competition is going to eat your lunch. So, this is the time to create content. Another thing that we've been hearing a lot about, and I know Stacey, you and I talked about this already, is a lot of people think, well, because of COVID, right? I can't go out and film a video. I can't have you come into my office and film video. But like you mentioned, TikTok, this is the age where organic works, right, Stacey? And this is, you and I have had this conversation too. And I said, well, can you keep me home and still create content? And your answer?
100% yes. That is how brands and personal brands and small businesses are doing it right now. They are just setting up with their phones and just filming themselves with the light that they have. You have to be innovative. And that's the thing. If you're not being innovative and creative with the resources that you have, you're never going to make it in life anyway. So, but this is like where we're at. TikTok is, that lo-fi, you don't have to have highly produced, slick, videos with TikTok. You just have to connect with people. And if you can do that with humor, yourself, your authenticity, you will win on TikTok. TikTok is one of the best algorithms out there to kind of get you in front of more people. And as long as you're consistently showing your authentic self, and your brand values, people will connect with you. And you don't have to have professional, photography done to make that. So 100%, this is the time, people are locked up at home and we have to use the resources we have. And I developed out, ways. I made these different programs for brands so that they can film at home. And I make these, storytelling techniques so that we can tell their stories through cell phones and through Zoom, and, and it's working for them.
Oh, that's so interesting. And let's talk about that a little bit. I think we want to talk about TikTok a little bit. I think there's a lot of brands out there thinking, okay, I've seen some TikTok videos, Winnie, and I just feel like it's not for me. Maybe for my 11-year-old or my 17-year-old at home. And by the way, I learned on TikTok that like skinny jeans are completely gone. Like you just can't wear skinny jeans anymore. Like that's such an old thing. I learned that on TikTok. And some of you are thinking, well, okay, my business, maybe I'm a lawyer, maybe I'm a plumber, maybe I'm a, fill in the blank of what you are. Do I have a place in TikTok, Stacey?
1,000% you have a place on TikTok. That's the thing. If you're a plumber, you have this whole unique way of seeing the world through toilets. so share. That's the thing. I mean, people just always underestimate what they have. I mean,
Okay, what about a lawyer? How would a lawyer market on? We're stretching your creative genes here because we don't get you every day. Okay, Stacey Kelly, help us. An attorney. How does an attorney really, stressful attorney? How does she or he present and create viral video on TikTok?
So law is obviously something that unless you go to law school, you really don't understand it. So you definitely have an audience that would want to understand it. So, if you're a lawyer for small businesses, boom. I mean, if you can translate that hard jargon into like fun 5 to 15 second videos, and I know that there are lawyers that do this, you have a place on TikTok. There will definitely be a ton of people, especially other small businesses, that want a lawyer but can't afford it, that want to learn your facts and want to learn your tips. And if you can translate that hard, complex law into something really fun, even a jingle, like if you're making like sort of like jingle songs, like if you're turning it into some form of entertainment, I like almost can guarantee that you will. In fact, I'm going to find lawyers. I'll come back and I'll tell you. I'm sure that there's a lawyer that's out there doing that right now, making a jingle and like translating complex law subjects into something that small business owners can use during COVID so that they could run their own businesses. I'm telling you, everybody has an expertise that they could share. And, you know, that kind of lawyer that's out there doing that on TikTok, they may be making a fool of themselves, but I guarantee they are getting the clients that they want because now they're attracting people that are connecting with them. And then the people
Are
that
they really getting clients? Are they really getting clients that you think they need on TikTok? I guess that's my question, right? Or are they getting teenagers interested in law, which isn't a bad thing either?
That's not a bad thing. But no, since about April last year, TikTok soared in terms of more adults jumping on the platform. So because of the pandemic, obviously. So yes, there's definitely a lot of potential for like meeting and booking new clients through TikTok for sure. And a lot of businesses are doing that and a lot of brands are doing that. So it's not just for teenagers that are singing anymore. I mean, they're definitely still there and they're a huge audience. But there's definitely a lot of adults on there now, or just young millennials, young Gen Z people that are still, you know, starting their own businesses and making new contacts and connections there.
I love that. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, sounds like TikTok is in your TikToking world. We want to see your TikToking videos. Brian Schumann, have you done TikTok? I mean, we want to know. Roger Wakefield, now Brian Schumann's tagging our good friend Roger Wakefield, the expert plumber, for sure. I would love to see Roger change a toilet on TikTok. That would be very interesting, actually.
Yes.
We'll have to reach out to him to do that. And then and Curtis is saying you can find anybody on TikTok. Well, then looks like you got to find us on TikTok. We better get on TikTok.
Yes.
But all right. Let's talk about this. How do you know what to charge for your skills? This is sort of like, this is a question. This is like when people ask like the chicken or the egg question. I feel like every business owner asks this question, right? Everybody in the creative space. So Stacey Kelly, when you're going out to pricing your services, right? Obviously people want to pay you $4.95 and you're like, I can't do what you want me to do for $4.95. And you're looking maybe to charge $4,000 to $40,000 to $400,000. Where do you do? How do you get there?
So you definitely want to, you know, figure out what is your lifestyle that you want to, you know, pay for. And then divide, you know, there's like a whole formula. You divide it up by the days and like how much you want to work. And for me, what I did was I ended up dividing that number into programs. So I have different tiers, but there's always, you know, a tier that will work for a different type of client. So usually when I'm on a call, usually at the beginning of the month, actually, I'm figuring out what I want to make that month and then, you know, making a certain amount of calls. But essentially I try to sell that program and it's always at a fixed price. Like I never change it to keep the integrity of it. But I really try to aim to sell more, you know, the amount of programs that I need that month or the amount of clients that I need that month so that I can make my goals. But I do sort of set up like a set price. So whatever your lifestyle is, like what you need to live on per month, you know, you have to think of yourself as an employee of your company too. You're paying yourself as an employee. You have to pay and, you know, back into your business as well. So you have to factor in all those things. What are your expenses? Who are you as an employee so that you can live comfortably still and, you know, and then divide that into how many days you're working that month, you know, obviously, and then that's your rate, you know, or your hourly rate when you divide it by hours in the day. So essentially you figure out your rate that way. You have to also account for tax. Don't forget tax.
Yes.
Make sure that that's in your price so that you're, you know, not, you can easily underpay yourself if you don't account for tax. But, you know, that's what I do. And I just really make sure that I'm hitting my goals every month to make sure that, you know, so the hourly is into my packages, but then on a grander picture, I'm selling certain packages per month.
Sure. Sure. Okay, I love that. So basically what Stacey told us is this. You have to reverse engineer your pricing. So you got to figure out based on your, your experience, your value, how much you want to make that month is what she's saying, right? Or even that year. And then that's sort of like, how people always say to create a budget of how much you're going to spend. Well, you should actually create a reverse budget on how much you want to earn. So if at the end of the month, you want to come up positive by 5,000 or whatever that amount would be, add in the tax, which, as you know, isn't difficult to do. You just one dot whatever your tax rate is. So let's say your taxes are 25%, 50%, whatever it is, one dot that gives you your aggregate number. And then I would also recommend that obviously you put in some physical hard costs in there, maybe your rent, your mortgage, things like that, to make sure that you're on track. And then divide that out to how many clients or projects that you can work on, and to figure out how you can get to that point, right? So let's say the value that you have that you think realistically you can only charge 5,000, but you really want to charge 10,000. What other services or features do you think realistically you can add in and still earn on to get you closer to that point, so that you really don't have that much competition in these additional skills that you offer? And that's critical. So oftentimes we end up lowering our costs. You know why? Because people ask us to lower our costs. And that's the thing is, the right customer or client will pay you what you're worth when you in fact know how much your worth is, right? And I love what you say about making sure to include taxes. Taxes are critical, but everything else is critical too. And the other thing that Stacey said was so important about treating your, not only do you own the company, but making sure that you're an employee in a way that making sure that as an employee, what would you do? You would sock away money into your 401k. You would make sure that you had health and medical benefits, right? So same thing as a business owner, you got to make sure to account for those things as well. So beautiful, Stacey Kelly.
Yeah. And
one
thing I noticed is that if people just automatically want to pay you quickly, your prices are too low. So if they're like, oh wow, that's great, yeah, I'll book you right now. I got that a couple times in the beginning, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm actually charging way less than I should. So it's, those are the ways that you learn kind of where you're at in the market as well.
Yes, I learned that too. When I used to fill audiences for television shows, I was getting shows like all the time. Everybody was like waitlisted for me to fill their shows. And it got to a point where you're like, I think it's time to raise the prices. And what's great about that is when you raise your prices, that might reduce some of your workload, because some people might decide not to engage you to work with. However, you end up making more on the ones that you really can focus on. So your quality of work actually improves.
Exactly.
Your quality of life, everything sort of just works in a very Zen business way. So you got to trust the process. I've heard in the business world, they say, well, when people ask you to discount your services, you should come back and say, well, what part of the services that I give you should I also take away from you as well, right?
Exactly.
And that's actually a really weird conversation to have. But that's sort of like the chicken and egg thing. Everybody asks that question often. I'm really glad that Stacey, that you figure that out. I will tell you, I spoke to one of my longtime client, good friend of mine, has an agent that represents her, and the agent told me this: whatever someone's willing to pay you, you add 20% to that, and that's what an agent gets you. So they're in the job of negotiating on your behalf. So if you think about it, if you are in this scenario, the talent, the skill set, the experience, the ability that someone wants to hire you, and it's really your negotiation skills that gets you that extra 20%, it seems to me that we can get better at negotiating. that should be a skill set. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of loving this conversation.
100%.
So
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Me too.
We need to put that down. We got to learn how to negotiate
Negotiate.
your value. I love
Mhm.
that. I love that.
So key.
All right. Yeah, that is so key. Stacey Kelly, we could talk about this all the time. I just adore you. And by the way, we should actually plug this because we talk and help a lot of other people. We often forget to do this for ourselves. But because you're here, I'm remembering because we're like the same. It's my sister here. What do we do? We're actually doing something really fun. You want to share with everybody what we're doing now on a weekly basis, or pretty much weekly?
Yes. So Winnie and I are on Clubhouse, and we basically were sharing our business tips, everything from how to get more publicity, how to make your own content, to just like all the financials of like thinking about your business and how to run the finances part of it. So we are there every Wednesday at 2:30 Pacific time. So
Oh no, it won't
please
be
join
2:30
us.
because this show is not at 2:30. So actually, probably won't be there. We'll probably be moving
Oh,
it the time. Uh, follow
yes,
both of us on Clubhouse, and we will
yes,
let you know. How about that?
yes. We'll have that. We'll have it in our bios. Yes.
We'll have it in our bios for sure. But yeah, I know I didn't tell Stacey yet, but that's what we're doing. But
Yes.
this is I just love this. This is so much fun. All right, Stacey, you ready for a little bit of speed round? Because it's that time.
Yes. Yes. Definitely.
All
Bring it.
right, let's go. All right, my friend.
So cool.
I'm so interested to hear your answer on this one, Stacey Kelly, because, as someone who creates amazing digital and TV content, what if someone were to say, you know what, I would like to make a film to document your journey, Stacey? Who would you love to produce or executive produce this project? A project about you.
Oh my gosh. Can I do two people or just one?
As many people, it's your day.
Okay. Ava DuVernay, 100%. And Tom
I don't
Hanks.
even know who that is. And Tom
He-
Hanks?
Yes.
All right. Oh, Tom Hanks just so nice, isn't he?
Yes, he is. I met him once. He's super nice.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did he remember your name? Did he come by? I just feel like he would come by and just say, Stacey, how are you doing today?
So friendly like that. Yes. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we only met the one time, but yeah, he was super cool.
Aw. You know who I'm going to say is like that? My dear friend, Randy Jackson from American Idol. He is like that. He's a sweetheart too.
He's cool. He seems very
Sweet, sweet guy. All right. Second question. This is a fun one. Actually, I really love this question. I'm purposely using some of your time to give you less time. I'm kidding. If you could live anywhere in the world and work and have work-life balance there, where would you live and why?
Okay, Kyoto, Japan. It is just, I love it. It's where I went for a whole summer and found that balance. I'm very spiritual. I'm Buddhist, and I just really got to immerse myself in it there. But the way that they're dedicated to work and work-life balance is just, I would love to be there forever.
Really? I wasn't picturing that in Japan they had good work-life balance.
But in Kyoto, they do.
In Kyoto, they do. All right. Well, I'm loving that.
Tokyo. Yeah.
Okay, so can you speak some Japanese?
I can't speak at all. So it was a very interesting trip because no one could speak to me.
One of my good friends, she said, she's like, Japan is so fun to go to. And by the way, she's not Japanese. She's like, Japan is so fun to go to. But someone that looks like you might have a little trouble. And I said, why is that? She's like, well, because you're Asian, but you don't speak Japanese. I'm like, oh, that's true. She's like, if you don't look Asian and you go, it's great. It's fine. Nobody will assume it. But there's higher expectations. And I'm like, oh, that's very true. But, Google has a tool for that, I'm sure.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yes, hold up the phone. That's interesting. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting, right? Okay. I love this. Okay. Well, Stacey, I gotta share with you. So our friends at Intuit this week and actually all the way until tax season, they're actually providing codes for free. TurboTax is a good friend of the show. And for this tax season, Intuit, which is their parent company, is a global technology platform that helps customers and communities overcome their most important financial challenges. And in fact, they serve millions of customers worldwide with TurboTax, QuickBooks, Credit Karma, and Mint. Intuit believes that everyone should have the opportunity to prosper. Intuit works tirelessly to find new, innovative ways to deliver on this belief. So please visit intuit.com for the latest information about Intuit and its brands. And most importantly, if you would like TurboTax from Winnie, right now for this tax season, definitely go ahead and tag Intuit and tag me and tag Intuit and let me know, and just to hashtag I want TurboTax and let me know. I'm going to pick someone from our audience to have TurboTax on us. All right. So we are looking forward to hearing you. Stacey, have you done your taxes yet?
I have not, and I'm a little bit freaking out about it. I have to do it by next week. So
by next week. Oh, next week is the corporate taxes are due. Yeah.
Corporate, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. My accountant called me today. Yeah. I hear you. Well, for those of you who don't know, the 15th, corporate taxes are due. Some of you actually might have to file an extension, and then personal taxes due right around April 15th, unless you're in the state of Texas. So lots to think about, Stacey Kelly. You know, that's the beauty of being self-employed. Well, thank you, Stacey, so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Winnie. I had so much fun. Thank you. The quizzes and everything is so fun. I love that.
Well, it has to be, because you know what? We have to keep it entertaining. Otherwise, I mean, to be honest with you, for those of you who are watching, don't worry. After the show's over, I'm going to jump on with Stacey. I'm going to ask her how we can improve the show, because that's what she does. Now, you have here our live stream, which streams on 6 different platforms, and now plus ModernMom. I think that makes us 8 every day that the financial markets are open. Thank you so much for watching, supporting the program, and sharing the show with those that you love and care about. Definitely subscribe to Winnie Sun TV, my friends. As a reminder, you can find full episodes of Level Up with Winnie on NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, and Roku. Be well, and I can't wait to see you and definitely Stacey Kelly again tomorrow. Take care now.
Bye. Thanks.